comment,
and subscribe for more content.
Where's the notification bell?
It's to the right of you.
Oh.
What's up, guys? Welcome to this edition of a Funko Popcast. I am DK Wrestler.
And I am MD Shady.
And in today's podcast, we have a lot of Funko Pops to go through, considering the last couple of weeks we had the NYCC reveal edition of a Funko Podcast. And then last week was our latest fandom-related podcast on Fortnite that featured Robbie D in it. So thank you, Robbie D, for joining on a Funko Podcast last week. And thank you to all of you who had tuned into last week's fandom-related podcast on Fortnite, which definitely was needed for me since I was sicker than a dog last week. So, I mean, if that wasn't made, I wouldn't even know if there would have been a podcast last week. But with today's podcast, the announcements were ranging from our September 7th all the way until September 17th. So pretty much a full 10 days of announcements to get through. We have the top 10 Funko Pops of September 2022, but as always, if you're new to the podcast, we'll explain how we're going to be doing the top 10 list for this week, and then it goes into next week. So without further ado, let's kick off with obviously starting off with September 7th. Funko had announced a pop of Wong for the current Disney Plus series She-Hulk, in which that's expected to release as early as January 2023. On that same day, Funko had announced a Funko Shop drop of Rick Sanchez with Memory Vial from Rick and Morty, which from what I last remember is still available on the Funko Shop website. On September 8th, Funko had confirmed on the Funko app of the metallic Boba Fett, a part of the Pop and Tea bundle, in which that is available now at various retail stores. Then on September 11th, GameStop had announced their own exclusive pop of Kyoka Jiru with microphone from My Hero Academia, which is also a Pop and Tea bundle, in which that's expected to be released at some point in October. Then on September 13th, Pop Culture had confirmed various Marvel pops, as we have ourselves Dr. Voodoo, and then 3 pops for X-Men being Nightcrawler, Longshot, and Jubilee, in which those are available now on the Pop Culture website with restricted shipping for the US. On that same day, Funko had announced Snoop Dogg pops, as we have singular pops of Snoop Dogg with fur coat and Snoop Dogg with afro, a pop albums of Snoop Dogg's Doggy Style, and then there's going to be 2 exclusive Snoop Dogg pops that will be going to the new Funko and Snoop Dogg pop-up shop happening in 2023, which we have ourselves Snoop Dogg with the Lakers jersey and Snoop Dogg with the Steelers jersey, both being limited to 15,000 pieces. On that same day, Funko would announce the next pop involved in the My Hero Academia Class 1B set, which the pop we have here is Jirota Shishida, which is a flocked figure, will be exclusive to Hot Topic, and is expected to release as early as November 2022. September 14th, GameStop had announced a collector's box for G.I. Joe, which features a pop of Prophet Director Destro, in which some of these have been hitting up stores now, but the majority of them will be expected to release as early as November 2022. Then we got ourselves the first day of Festival of Fun reveals, which first off, we have ourselves a new set of Coca-Cola pops, which has a 90s Coca-Cola bear, Santa Claus, and then we have 2 versions of each, which will be exclusive, one being a casual Santa Claus exclusive to the Funko Shop, and then a flocked 90s Coca-Cola bear that'll be exclusive to Amazon, in which the majority of these Festival of Fun reveals, I should mention, some of them are available now, some of them will be available as early as November. After the Coca-Cola announcement, we have ourselves new sets of gingerbread DC pops, which we got ourselves the Flash, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Superman, Batman, and then we also have a non-gingerbread pop of a do-it-yourself Superman. Then we're going back to gingerbread. We have ourselves the Joker, which will be exclusive to the Funko Shop, a Diamond Collection gingerbread Batman, which will be exclusive to Hot Topic, then taking all 5 of the common pops and slapping them into a 5-pack exclusive to Walmart. Then we got an exclusive 4-pack of DC pops that were pretty much the Christmas pops from last year, which we have Superman, Wonder Woman, Ebenezer, Batman, and Reindeer Flash. exclusive to Walmart. And then last but not least, for day one of Festival of Fun reveals, we have ourselves a Clark Griswold pop VHS covers from National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. All right, so kicking off with Wong. This is pretty decent. And what is a little weird also is that if you see the box art for the actual pop, if you've seen him posted on the website, for some reason, like the kind of circle that he's coming out of is actually a part of the artwork, which I think is okay, but I feel like it does take a lot of room on the window there for the box. But overall, seeing this Wong pop, it's pretty decent. I like that added attention to detail of, I don't exactly know the proper name of it, but obviously the circle he makes with kind of like the powers that he has. But the only gripe I have now as I look at it is that I wish they actually added something in the background to show like he's coming from some sort of other like dimension instead of just the circle that's there. There should have been a background with it. I think that would have been a nice attention to detail. But overall, it's probably my favorite pop of the She-Hulk waves so far. Then we got ourselves Rick Sanchez with the memory vial. And I mean, this is okay. I believe this is probably a part of like the most recent season of Rick and Morty that's currently out. Considering I have not watched Rick and Morty since I believe the beginning of season 5, I have a lot of catching up to do. But I mean, I'm curious to know what Rick is doing with a memory vial, whether he's trying to erase it or he's trying to get it back, I guess. He's got some memories stored. I wouldn't be surprised of either or of what I just said, but this is okay, I guess. It's been a while since we've had Rick and Morty pops, but come on, Funko. Where's a Morty Jr. Funko Pop? Then we got ourselves the Pop and Tea bundle of Boba Fett, the metallic pop. And it's so weird, actually, seeing common Pop and Tea bundles. I mean, it's not a bad thing because obviously it's accessible to everyone. But at the same time, it always seems so weird considering like you already have like a common version of the pop. And especially if you have now the metallic pop and it just doesn't have a sticker to kind of signify that it's actually a metallic pop. But overall, the t-shirt looks nice in the bundle. And then obviously the box. We've already mentioned about how the boxes are on so many other podcasts before. Then we have Kyoka Jiro from My Hero Academia with the microphone, and this is pretty decent. I mean, this is now, I believe, the third version of Kyoka Jiro that we have in Funko Pop form, which is a little weird that we're seeing so many of her right away. Maybe because it's been a while since we've been waiting for pops of her, so they're just pumping up more. But at the same time, I mean, we could have gotten like a Mineta pop to replace this one, at least for right now, and this could have been like maybe like a Comic-Con exclusive down the line. But overall, I mean, the t-shirt looks pretty sweet. I mean, I'd probably like to get that t-shirt, but other than that, still pretty decent. We have the random selection of Marvel Pops, which these are pretty cool, especially Dr. Voodoo, which I know has hit up North America. I believe this is a Walgreens exclusive, and that's the same thing going on with these X-Men Pops. The X-Men Pops are pretty sweet also, especially Nightcrawler in comic book form, which I believe we did not have that previously. We only had the like X-Men 2000 movie Pops with Nightcrawler in it. Then we got ourselves Snoop Dogg, and this is a pretty sweet announcement. It has been a long time coming for Snoop Dogg because I believe Snoop Dogg, along with Eminem, at one point they were in like a pre-order system at like a GameStop. Yeah, it's cool that we got Snoop Dogg Pops coming in 2023. The singular Pops are cool. You got an albums, which is sweet. And then also the exclusive Pops are pretty decent, also being 15,000 pieces each, wearing the different sports jerseys. So I feel like if you're a huge fan of Snoop Dogg, you're probably going to want to get those exclusive Pops. Although if I were to get one or two, it might be one of the singular common Pops and then the Pop album. Other than that, really cool that we have Snoop Dogg Pops now coming down the pipeline. Then we have Jirota Shida or Shishida, however you pronounce the name. This is pretty decent. I mean, it's looking like a very cool, like Bigfoot mixed with Teen Wolf, I guess, for the character. It's been so long since I've seen My Hero Academia, so I barely even remember the Class 1B students. And this looks pretty decent. And I mean, making a flocked, how could you say no to having a flock pop? Then we got ourselves the Prophet Director Destro. That's a tongue twister and a half. This looks pretty decent. I mean, I like the detail overall with the head sculpt and then the overall design that basically looks exactly like the action figure that was made for Destro here. And I mean, the contents in the box is pretty unique compared to a lot of the collector's boxes that Funko have made in the past. Like you got like the dog tag, you even have a Funko comic to go along with it. And then even what looks to be like an official member like badge, or not badge, but like a business card, and you can write your name on it. Although I don't think I would write my name on it, but if I wanted to, I probably could. And then you also have a lanyard also. So this is a pretty decent box compared to a lot of boxes the last little bit. Now we got Festival of Fun Day 1 reveals. Coca-Cola, this is pretty decent. I remember some people already obtaining these pops before they were announced, so I kind of already knew about this, but I do like the differences they did with the two Santa Clauses, because you got the one that's obviously in his regular outfit, and then you have like casual Santa Claus with a Coca-Cola bottle. And I think both of them are pretty unique in their own way. And then with the 90s bear, I mean, really cool. He sold in the bottle. One's flocked, one's not. I mean, most likely you're going to want to get the flocked version, even though it's with Amazon. Then we have ourselves the gingerbread DC pops, or at least the majority of them are gingerbread. Some of them are non-gingerbread DC pops. And these are pretty decent. I mean, I feel like some of the Marvel ones I liked a little better than the DC, but there's still a lot of cool DC ones, like even Batman, for being as simplistic as it is. I really enjoy the way the Batman looks, especially how it looks Diamond Collection. I think that will actually turn out very well when starts hitting up stores at Hot Topic, and people are hyping huge over the Joker. I don't think I've ever seen gingerbread get so much hype due to one figure like the Joker there, and it does look pretty decent. I like the overall design of gingerbread Joker. The 5-pack, I mean, it's just repurposing 5 figures into one box with an exclusive sticker. We've mentioned this a bunch. And then what's even worse than that is taking figures from last year's Festival of Fun and slapping them into a multi-pack and adding a Walmart exclusive sticker. Like, what is even the point? Like, I mean, I don't even know if I want to just go over the whole thing again, because I mention it so many times about how stupid these multi-packs are that are just repurposed commons from either last year or like last month or something. And last but not least, for day 1 reveals, it's the Clark Griswold Pop VHS covers, and this looks awesome. I think this is definitely one of the best Pop VHS covers that Funko has done thus far. I mean, such an iconic cover for a movie like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I think my only gripe, though, about this is that I wish this was glow in the dark to go along with the lights that essentially he's being electrocuted by. I think if they would have added that, especially because that electrocution, I guess I will use as a word, brightens up the cover. I wish they would have done that as a glow in the dark pop for this covers. But overall, great VHS covers.
All right, starting out with Wong from She-Hulk. This is actually a pretty cool looking pop. I like how they added the circle in with it, but I do have to agree with DK. I wish we would have gotten a little bit more of something to see that he's coming from a different universe or whatnot. But yeah, this is a great pop, and I think it's probably one of the better Wong pops we've seen for a while now. Then we have Rick with the memory vial, and this is okay. This is more of a basic kind of Rick pop, but yeah, I have to agree again with DK. We want Morty Jr. as a pop, so I don't think we need a ton of different variants of Rick because we've already had a ton of them. Then there's the metallic Boba Fett with the Pop and Tea bundle, and this is a pretty cool pop. I like the t-shirt a lot, but yeah, the box is absolutely terrible. I'm sure that if Funko was still doing the cool pop and tea boxes, they could have thought of something a lot cooler than this, whether it be like just the shape of Boba Fett's jetpack or something like that. These boxes just, they really do suck. Then we have the My Hero Academia GameStop exclusive, which is also the Pop and Tea bundle. And this t-shirt's really nice. I like the t-shirt a lot because it's pretty simplistic. You have the Japanese lettering as well as her name in English, which is really cool. And it's just a simplistic design of the pop itself, which I like. And the pop itself is pretty cool as well. Next up, we have Dr. Voodoo, which is a pretty crazy looking pop. I like the details that have gone into this, but I don't really know the character too much. Whereas with Nightcrawler, which is the next pop, this is one of my more favorite X-Men, and I think that this pop looks sweet. And it is the comic book version, which I think is well needed. This is an awesome pop. Then we have Longshot as well as Jubilee, and these pops are pretty cool as well. I love when Funko makes a little bit more of the obscure X-Men characters in pop form because I don't know, there's just something about these random X-Men characters that I really enjoy. And then finally, we have announcements for Snoop Dogg pops. Way back in the day, we were supposed to get a Snoop Dogg pop. And this was like when the ad icons, or not ad icons, when the pop rocks had kind of just begun. I believe Snoop Dogg was supposed to be like number 19 or something like that. And then it ended up getting canceled, if I'm not mistaken. So it's awesome now that we finally have Snoop Dogg pops, and there's actually quite a bit of them. I like the OG Snoop Dogg with the fur coat. That's pretty cool, as well as the Afro one, though I do think the Afro one is probably the worst out of all of these pops. Then we have Doggy Style, and I couldn't think of a better album to make for Snoop Dogg's at least first pop album. So this is sweet, and the pop of Snoop in this is great as well. I like that kind of basic design for Snoop Dogg. And then we have the two pops that are going to be exclusive to the pop-up shop, and these are pretty sweet. I like these a lot. You got the Lakers jersey, and he's also holding the basketball, as well as the Steelers jersey, and then he's holding the football. So that makes a lot of sense. I do think that these will sell very well. Obviously, there's only 15,000 of each of them, so I wouldn't be surprised if they sold out very quickly at the pop-up shop and end up being more of grail pieces in the future. Then we have another Class 1B exclusive from Hot Topic of My Hero Academia, and I don't even remember this character's name. I haven't seen this character, but I really do like the character design as well as it being flocked. I mean, there's so much fur going on with this pop that why not make it a flocked pop? Then we have the G.I. Joe box, and yeah, DK pretty much summed this one up pretty good. You get a lot of cool items in this, which is better than just getting like a Pez and I don't know, whatever Funko usually throws into these boxes. So I really do enjoy that they give you that G.I. Joe like Funko Pop comic book. I think that that's an awesome thing to get in this box. And the pop itself has a lot of detail, and I could see G.I. Joe fans going crazy for this box. And then starting off with the Festival of Fun, we have the Coca-Cola Pops, and I was super excited about this. The 90s Coca-Cola bear is awesome. I really enjoy that, and we're getting a flocked one, which I think is great. And then we're also getting two versions of Santa, the Coca-Cola Santa, which is so cool. Something I never thought we would have gotten, but I'm so happy that we are. The Funko Shop exclusive one is pretty cool in kind of the casual outfit sitting on the chair. I think I even remember this commercial. And then you have the regular Santa, which is a common, which I really enjoy that one as well. This is an awesome set. I probably will be getting both the Santas and then probably the flocked Coca-Cola bear rather than just getting the common. Then we have the DC Gingerbread Man, and this is okay. I kind of like the gingerbread pops. I think that it's a neat idea, and they're generally executed very well. So it's cool to see that we now have DC characters. I believe the first ones were Disney. Then we had Marvel last year. So now we have DC, which I think is fitting. And all of these look really cool. My favorite one is probably Flash. I don't know why. I just kind of really like that one. But I do think that the Hot Topic exclusive Diamond Collection Batman is going to look very, very nice. And it's one of those Diamond Collection pops that actually makes sense because if you're making a gingerbread cookie, you might decorate it with those sprinkles that kind of have that glisten to them. So this makes a lot of sense. I really enjoy this. And then you have the random Superman DIY pop. And yeah, that's okay, I guess. I don't know how I feel about DIY pops anymore. And then you have the commons all thrown into the 5-pack. And I think that this is maybe the way to get these pops. If you're going to be getting all 5, why not just buy it in the 5-pack and then go over to the Funko shop and get the Joker to finish off the set. And then we have the 4-pack of the Festival of Fun DC guys that we got last year. And this sucks. I'm not going to go into it too much, but I just don't understand why there wasn't just some other reveal other than pops we've already seen a year ago. And then lastly, for day one, we have the Clark Griswold pop VHS covers, and this is amazing. I mean, yeah, this looks so good. What a great Christmas movie, and the cover is very cool. So it's awesome that it turned out in pop form very, very well. But like DK said, why is this not glow in the dark? I think that it's a missed mark, and I just don't understand why they wouldn't have made it glow in the dark. It could have been so easy to make this one of those pops that is just amazing, where it's already very, very good. But just with the glow in the dark, it would have been one step better.
All right, moving on to the next section of Funko Pop announcements, which range from September 15th to September 17th. Kicking off, we got day 2 of reveals for Festival of Fun. So first off, we have ourselves some holiday Marvel pops, which we got ourselves DIY pops of Hulk and Groot, which will be exclusive to Walmart. And then we have a holiday Star-Lord with Groot, which will be a Funko Shop exclusive. Then we got ourselves some snowmen variants of Star Wars characters, which we have R2D2, Boba Fett, Darth Vader, C3PO, Snow Trooper, and then we have ourselves a Funko Shop exclusive Snowman Yoda. Then we got ourselves a 5-pack of the common pops with an Amazon exclusive sticker being exclusive to Amazon, obviously. Then we have ourselves for the Ad Icons lineup a Jeffrey with sweater, which will be exclusive to Macy's. Mariah Carey pop albums for her album All I Want for Christmas. And then we have ourselves the toy soldiers from FAO Schwartz, which is going to be exclusive to them, in which there is a regular version with a 1-in-6 Diamond Collection chase. Then on September 16th, Funko had announced the next pop involved in the Boruto Pop Deluxe set, which we have ourselves a pop of Hiruzen Sarutobi, which I know I butchered that name, in which that's expected to release as early as January 2023. Then on that same day, Funko had confirmed the pops involved in the recent Looney Tunes NFT drop, which we have pops of Foghorn Leghorn, Yosemite Sam, and Roadrunner, which were limited to 1,635 pieces. Wile E. Coyote, which is the Grail, limited to 999 pieces, and then Freddy Funko as Bugs Bunny, which is the Royalty Pop, limited to 3,000 pieces. Continuing on that same day, Funko had confirmed the next pop involved in the Red Saber series Pop Deluxe set, which is of Count Dooku, or it actually says on the box, Darth Tyrannus, which is a glow-in-the-dark pop, in which this is expected to release as early as January 2023. Continuing on that same day, we have a pop of Titania for the She-Hulk lineup, in which that's expected to release as early as November 2022. GameStop had confirmed on that day of 2 pops, one of Watson with Netsie from Apex Legends, and then a pop and tea bundle of a glow-in-the-dark Pain from Naruto Shippuden, in which that's expected to release as early as November 2022, while the Watson and Netsie is available now in stores. And then last but not least, a random Saturday announcement of September 17th, Funko had announced a pop of Harley Quinn with cards that will be exclusive to GameStop, and this is expected to release as early as November 2022. So kicking off with the DIY Marvel pops, and I mean, at first, these seemed pretty decent, I guess, because I was under the assumption that they were going to start doing DIY pops the way that they're kind of showing out on the glam shot, where maybe part of it is white and you get to paint it yourselves while the rest is still like your regular whatever color of the character is. But that's not the case. Pop Culture had posted some glam shots and it's actually still a full-on white DIY, which I guess in a way is still better because you get to completely design it yourselves, unlike what they seem to be advertising, which would have been a little bit weird. And then we have the Star-Lord pop in the holiday outfit, and it comes with the group. That's pretty decent. It's got the holiday mixtape with them, so that's pretty cool. Then we have ourselves the Star Wars holiday pops, all of the characters as snowmen, and these have to be probably one of the most controversial pops, I guess, this year, because there's like a 50-50 divided fence about these on, oh God, these things are the most ugliest pops that Funko have done. Why couldn't you think of anything better? And then there's people who think that they're cool. And I mean, I've seen the pops in person as terms to like pictures and stuff. You can watch them, I believe, on Top Pop's video. He recently seen them at a Hot Topic, and they don't look entirely as bad as people are making it seem like. And I mean, people are like, oh man, that's not a perfect snowman. At the same time, when has there been a snowman that's perfect? Like there's not going to be a snowman you roll up in a ball and it's like the most perfect circle. It's like, so to make it kind of look not the greatest, I guess completes its purpose of being a snowman. If it's as perfect as possible, then I don't think it's more of a realistic snowman. And I think that's the approach that Funko is trying to do, is make it more of a realistic snowman and not what you see on like a cartoon show or whatever. And then we have ourselves the Jeffrey the Giraffe with the Macy's sweater exclusive to Macy's, which I mean, I'm not surprised because for those that might not know, Macy's is the store that has pop-up Toys R Us stores inside of them in the States. So they're kind of like the Toys R Us stores at the moment until I believe there's some sort of plan to revive Toys R Us And I'm hoping that possibly this pop does come to our Toys R Us, just because we've been known for having the Toys R Us pops. So, I mean, maybe we will. Highly doubt it'd be with the Macy's exclusive sticker. I'll probably have the Funko special edition sticker, whether it's that ugly ribbon or it's the new one that's gray and blue there. Overall, I like the overall detail with the sweater and especially the lights all the way around Jeffrey. I think they did a pretty decent job. Then we have the All I Want for Christmas Mariah Carey pop albums. And I mean, I don't really know how I feel about this, to be honest, because I mean, the idea is cool, but at the same time, we already had the singular pop like 3 years ago. So why like re-release it? But I guess at the same time, it's in a different posing this time where she is on her knees in the snow and it's to match the cover. So I guess that's cool. But at the same time, like if you already have the singular one, why get the album? Or I guess in this sake, if you didn't get the singular one, it gets the perfect time to get the album. Then we have the FAO Schwartz Toy Soldiers, which I think is pretty decent. And adding the glitter effect does make sense because you do get those like toy soldiers that have like a glossy, glittery finish to it. And at least it's not overdone on the pop where it's like, you know, like the Mickey Mouse Diamond Soda, whereas like you had it on the ears also, while on here it's just like the outfit that's glitter and not the face and the eyeballs. Then we have the Boruto Pop Deluxe, and this is pretty decent. I mean, already I've said good things about the two pops, and there's nothing really to mention, especially not seeing Boruto. Then we have the Looney Tunes NFT pops, which if you guys haven't yet, we did do a unpacking, I guess I'll call it, of the cards recently on our channel to see if we get any redeemables, which, yeah, you definitely got to check that one out, which these pops are pretty sweet. They're all unique in their own way. It's definitely one of the better NFT drops as turns to the redeemables. The Foghorn Leghorn is awesome. It's pretty much a poppin' buddy. You got the Yosemite Sam, which is more of an original one compared to the Black Knight one we had for New York Comic Con recently announced. The Roadrunner is absolutely wicked compared to the original one because you can actually see the feet turning and it's holding the beep beep sign. So that's pretty sweet. And then the Wile E. Coyote, I don't know yet whether I like this one or the original Funko Shop exclusive one better, but this one is cool because of the way they did the body mold and how he's literally, in the words of JR, folded up like an accordion there. And then also you have like the confused eye. I think that's pretty decent, especially it does make sense for that to be the Grail. And then the Freddy Funko Bugs Bunny, I think it's an okay Freddy Funko. I do like the idea of having the crown over the one ear instead of, let's say, like right in the middle between the two ears. I think that's a pretty smart move that Funko did with this pop. Then we have ourselves the Count Dooku, or as I'm able to actually say, Darth Tyrannus glow in the dark pop. And it was actually mentioned on the podcast here by me that I was actually hoping that because it is the Red Saber series and they're basically focusing on obviously the Sith Lords, that I was hoping that for some reason, knowing this was Count Dooku, they would actually call it Darth Tyrannus because that's actually his official Sith Lord name, even though they did refer to him 3/4 of the movie as Count Dooku. So I'm glad that Funko added that attention to detail of adding Darth Tyrannus to the box because it makes it more official. And I can't wait to get this because I never obtained that Star Wars Smuggler's Bounty exclusive Count Dooku from the box there. And now we have it in this form, and I can't wait to get this along with obviously Darth Maul, which has started hitting up our stores, and I somehow, I think, missed it, and then Savage Press. And then I love the jokes going on of what people think the last pop is, whether they think it's Pikachu or whether they think it's like a Goku and not obviously a Darth Vader. So I like that. And then we have ourselves Titania from She-Hulk, and I think this is okay. I mean, I feel like there definitely should be better Titania pops down the line because of her like funky outfits that she wears in the series. We have Watson and Netsie, and this is pretty cool. I mean, it's a little bit of a pop and buddy, I guess. And then we have the glow-in-the-dark Pain for the Pop and Tea bundle. And this one is a little meh because we've already seen this version of Pain as a regular version. We also seen a glow-in-the-dark Pain before, but it was a different mold. And now we have that original version of Pain, and then you slap the glow-in-the-dark effect instead of making the original Pain essentially what we have here. But I do like the t-shirt involved. I think that's cool with the basically picture of what the pop looks like. And then you have Pain down the side. I think that's pretty decent. Then last but not least, we have ourselves the Harley Quinn on cards. I don't know if it's a pop deluxe or if it's just a regular pop, but it does celebrate the 30th anniversary of Harley Quinn. And I think it's pretty decent. I kind of want to see like what cards are on top there. It's kind of hard to see. I think possibly it is a Joker card, which would make sense, obviously, because she's aligned with the Joker throughout the DC Comics universe. And I think just her position basically laying on the cards, that's pretty decent. It's a pretty unique Harley Quinn pop compared to a lot of the ones we've gotten lately.
So starting out day 2, we have the do-it-yourself Marvel pops of the Hulk and Groot, and I actually don't mind these ones. I think that there are some good about these DIY pops. With the Hulk, for starters, you could do Green Hulk or you could do Red Hulk, so I think that that is cool, and it's Christmas themed, so that's all right, I suppose, though I would like to see maybe a normal do-it-yourself Hulk before a Christmas theme one. And then with the Groot is pretty cool as well because you could probably, if you're good at painting, do a really awesome like wood texture look with the paint, which I think could end up turning out very, very well. Like I said, if you are a good painter. So there are some good to these DIY pops. Then we have Star-Lord with Groot, and this is pretty cool. I like how he's got the holiday mix. This is a pretty decent Christmas or holiday pop. And then we have the Star Wars snowman, and I don't know exactly how I feel about these. I kind of am on the fence. I kind of like the idea, but at the same time, I don't. I do like how they're not perfect. I think that that is cool, and they don't look terrible by any means. And then there's the 5-pack, of course. And I guess if you are going to get these, get the 5-pack and then just buy the Yoda exclusive. Then we have the Macy's exclusive Jeffrey Giraffe with the Macy's sweater, and I really enjoy this. Shouldn't be a surprise for a lot of you guys that know me. Ad icons, awesome. Jeffrey the Giraffe, also awesome. So it's cool to see Jeffrey the Giraffe that's not actually linked up with, like, let's say DC or Marvel or Harry Potter or anything like that. He's just Jeffrey the Giraffe wearing a Macy's sweater, which I think is great. This is a cool pop. We have the Mariah Carey pop albums, and yeah, I mean, controversial song and artist, I guess you could say. A lot of people either like the song or you absolutely can't stand the song when Christmas comes around and you just hear it all the time. I personally do like the song, and I will be getting this pop album. I think that it's a good way to get the pop itself. I didn't get the original pop, so I feel like this is how I should get it, and I'm a sucker for a cool pop albums. So yeah, this is pretty sweet. Then we have the FAO Schwarz soldiers, and these are really cool. I actually think that this is an awesome announcement. It's so different than anything we really see. And I don't know what category these pops are under, if they're ad icons or not, which I think they should be, in my opinion. But this is awesome. It's something like we never see anything like this. I guess the Jeffrey the Giraffe is the closest thing to being like this, but this is pretty iconic. So I really do enjoy this. I would like to get my hands on one of the common pops, or maybe even the chase if that was possible for me. I do like the pop. I think it looks cool. Then we have the next of the deluxe pops for the Baruto, with the third one actually. And these are cool. I mean, there's not much to say, like DK said, where we don't really know a ton about Baruto, but these pops do look really awesome. And I can't wait to see when they're all announced and have someone post a picture of them, because they're just great looking pops, but I just don't know a ton about it. And then we have the newest set of Funko NFTs with Looney Tunes. And like DK said, we did open up some packs. So if you haven't watched that video, go check it out. This is a really exciting drop for me. I love Looney Tunes and I love collecting the Looney Tunes pops. So when this got announced, I knew I had to buy some packs. And Foghorn Leghorn is the starting pop, with the poppin' buddy of Henry Hawk, which is freaking sweet. I really enjoy this pop. Foghorn Leghorn is my favorite character from Looney Tunes, so it's awesome to finally see a pop of him. And I mean, it looks great. The only gripe that I have about it, which I think is a little bit weird, is the box art itself on the front. It has Foghorn Leghorn kind of flipped, where he has the pointer finger pointing up on his left hand. I guess it would be when on the pop it's his right hand. But Funko sometimes does do that. I think it's probably just because they didn't want to have to put Henry Hawk like blocking maybe some of the window. But so that's understandable, but it's just weird to see that on a pop. And then we have Yosemite Sam, which is another pop that I really want to obtain. This is sweet. We obviously did see the Night Yosemite Sam that we talked about on the podcast. But now we have a more regular version of Yosemite Sam, and it's cool. He's got the money bag in his hand, which I think is a cool detail because they probably don't want to put in his hands what you normally would associate with Yosemite Sam. So that's a good alternative. And yeah, this pop looks sweet. Then we have the Roadrunner with the tongue out and the beep beep sign. And this is a pretty cool pop. I like how the legs are wrapped around looking like he's about to run, which is really cool. But this is probably my least favorite pop out of the set. Then we have the Grail being Wile E. Coyote and the accordion body, which is pretty funny. I really like the details put into this pop. I would like to get this at some point. I really hope I can get this. I don't know how exactly the Grail pops, how much in price they jump up, especially when they do become physical pops. And then lastly, we have the Freddy Funko as Bugs Bunny, and this is a really cool Freddy Funko as well. Like TK said, you have the crown kind of hanging onto the ear rather than being placed on the head, which I really like that detail. I think that that makes a lot of sense. And if it was in the middle of the head, I think it would have not have looked as good. So this is a really cool Freddy Funko, maybe one of my favorites that we've seen in quite some time. And then we have the next pop for the Red Saber series with Count Dooku / Darth Tyrannus. And this is sweet. I really enjoyed this one. This might be one of my favorites out of this set so far. Obviously, we haven't seen the Pikachu at the end yet. That one might be my favorite. But so far, Darth Tyrannus has got to be my favorite. I don't know why. It's just simplistic. It looks good. But overall, this set looks awesome so far. I'm excited to see all of them, especially in person, considering DK will probably pick up all of these at some point. And then we have the next She-Hulk pop with Titania, I believe her name is. This is a decent pop, I suppose. I haven't watched She-Hulk yet, so I don't know about all of the different attires that DK had discussed before, but I'm sure we could see some better pops of this character down the road. Then we have Watson and Nessie from Apex Legends, and this is pretty cool. I like the pop and buddy aspect of this, as well as the detail that's gone into this pop. Next up, we have the Pain Pop and Tea bundle, and this is okay. Like DK said, we've seen a couple of different Pain pops, especially this pop now being glow in the dark, which I think is cool. But I think that the star of the show with this is that t-shirt. I really enjoy that t-shirt. I like how you have the black, but then the orange pops from the black so well. And it's a simplistic design. There's not a ton going on with it. It's the pop, it's the words, a little bit of some logos going on, which I think is great for a t-shirt. This is one of my favorite t-shirts. And then lastly, we have Harley Quinn on the cards. And this is a pretty sweet pop. I really like this. I like the pose that Harley Quinn's in, as well as you get to see those cards being a base, which I think is a great detail. And I'm really curious to see is if you flip the pop upside down, if there's actually details on the bottom of the cards, like a card back, or if it's just blank, which who knows, maybe Funko did take the time and made a card back on the bottom. I would like to see that. So maybe I will have to find one of these pops in person and check that out, maybe even on the channel.
Are you looking for great pop protectors? Then look no further than popbox.ca. They have a variety of 4-inch and 6-inch protectors in different quantities. Do you want to get 10 protectors, 20? You can get even up to 250 pop protectors over on popbox.ca. And also use our promo code of Funko Popcast for 10% off of your entire purchase of pop protectors. The code is going on until supplies last. So go get your pop protector needs now over on popbox.ca using our code of Funko Popcast to get 10% off.
And let me tell you guys, we're not just screwing around here. These are some great pop protectors. We own a multitude of these protectors. They are some of the best I've seen. Stop buying from EB Games. I'm not boycotting EB Games by any means, but their pop protectors are not as good. So again, use code of Funko Popcast for 10% off.
All right. So that is all the Funko Pops we're talking about for this podcast. And now we're going to move over to the top 10 Funko Pops of September 2022, which has been a crazy month. So without further ado, like usual, we will kick off with MD Shady and his number 10 pick.
Yeah, this month definitely was crazy with announcements and another hard month to pick a top 10 list. So starting off at number 10, I have a pop that I think won't make it into my collection, but I do think it's worth mentioning because it's such a great looking pop. And that is the Monkey D. Luffy Pop Rides. Just such a cool pop. I love how the ship looks with the like ram head on the front that's popified. as well as Luffy looking pretty cool on the ship itself. So I figured I had to mention it. So that's why it's coming in at number 10 on my list.
Coming in at number 10 on my list is also a New York Comic Con exclusive like the Luffy Pop, and that is Sergeant Slaughter for the G.I. Joe Retro Toys lineup. And I think it looks great. It looks much better than the Sergeant Slaughter we had gotten for the WWE lineup. It's a mix of both WWE and G.I. Joe, which is awesome.
Coming in at number 9 on my list, I have yet another New York Comic Con exclusive, and that is of Borat. This pop's cool. I never would have expected it. I like the details that he has with his luggage. He also has the US and A flag. And I mean, it's cool. It was a surprise. I think a lot of people really, really enjoyed this Borat pop. I personally do want to have it in my collection, but I feel like a lot of the pops on this list are pops that have a better chance of actually coming into my collection. So that is why he is at number 9 on my list.
Coming in at number 9 on my list is the glow in the dark Darth Tyrannus Pop Deluxe for the Red Saber series set for Star Wars, GameStop exclusive. This is great. I'm very excited to finally obtain some sort of Count Dooku pop into my collection. The glow in the dark aspect is pretty decent because of the lava, since clearly the base is based off of Mustafar. And then, especially, I think the lightsaber glows in the dark too. I love the detail of it being also Darth Tyrannus on the box, like I mentioned in the podcast earlier, which is why it made the list. Yeah, I'm excited, and at least this pop will be going into my collection, unlike the Sergeant Slaughter.
Coming in at number 8 on my list, I have the King Joker. I think that this pop has a ton of really awesome detail. This looks great. One of the coolest Joker pops that I've seen. And Joker pops are generally really awesome. Like we discussed earlier on the podcast with the Gingerbread Joker, how there was a lot of hype with that one, as well as the abundance of different grails for Joker. So this is a really awesome pop, and I knew it had to make the list. But the 7 other pops I have on this list, I think, are just a little bit better because they're stuff that more pertains to me rather than just a pop of the Joker, though it is really awesome.
Coming in at number 8 on my list is Mikey from the TMNT Power Rangers crossover. New York Comic Con shared with Funko Shop exclusive, I forgot to mention. Really cool. I love the overall pose compared to a lot of the mashup pops that Funko has made. And of course, who doesn't like Mikey? So that's definitely why Mikey's on that list. Although it's low because I don't see this being in my collection, but I still think it's a really cool pop though.
Coming in at number 7 on my list is the Snoop Dogg pop albums for Doggy Style. I think that a lot of people really wanted Snoop Dogg pops for a long time now. And with the newer pop albums, I think that this is awesome. Doggy Style is a really cool album as well. The cover looks great. The pop of Snoop is my favorite of the 5 pops that we've seen announced. So it had to make the list, coming in at number 7.
Coming in at number 7 on my list is the Walmart exclusive Clark Griswold Pop VHS covers. Great looking cover, obviously. The pop matching the cover is great. I think my only gripe and the fact of why it is a little bit low is the fact that it's not a glow in the dark pop like it should have been, as earlier mentioned on the pod by both myself and MD Shady.
Coming in at number 6, I have Raphael as the Red Ranger. This is so cool. I've really been digging this crossover with the TMNT and Power Rangers, and I feel like this is probably one of the better ones because you have Raph, who obviously has the red bandana, and then you have the Red Ranger, and they kind of are the leaders of the group in a way. So it's really cool to see them mashed together in this pop.
Moving on to number 6 on my list is the pop of, I should mention, the New York Comic Con shared with Toy Tokyo exclusive Borat. This is a great looking pop. It looks exactly like Borat, and I like the idea of him holding the American flag in a suitcase. I think it's a great attention to detail instead of just like a simplistic human pop just standing there with the arms to the side. So I really like that. So much hype because we all wanted a Borat pop, and we didn't think it was ever going to happen, but it has, and it will be released for New York Comic Con. So I can't wait to actually see this pop in person.
Now making it halfway through the list, coming in at number 5 on mine, the Funko NFT Looney Tunes Yosemite Sam. This is a great pop. I think that Funko did a good job with this, with the money bags rather than having a other certain item in his hand. And it's really cool. I wanted to see what you would expect to see Yosemite Sam as, other than the one that we saw as the knight in that attire. So I'm glad that we did get to see it. And it is a Funko NFT and was the reason why I kind of bought the first ever packs of NFT pops that I've gotten. So that was cool. And yeah, this is just an amazing pop. Looney Tunes being one of my favorite things to collect for Funko. So I knew it had to make the list, at least coming in at number 5.
Coming in at number 5 on my list is the New York Comic Con shared with Amazon exclusive Anakin Skywalker for Star Wars. What a great pop. It is Attack of the Clones Padawan Anakin Skywalker with the short hair and the braid down the side. The pose is great with the 2 lightsabers. 20th anniversary of Attack of the Clones this year. Even though it wasn't the greatest Star Wars movie, it's still a great looking pop.
Coming in at number 4 on my list is the common Coca-Cola Santa. I think that this is awesome. It was a surprise to me. I'm always thinking of what could Funko do next for ad icons, considering it is probably my favorite thing to collect for Funko. And this is something that I never thought of. And I kind of felt like an idiot a little bit that I didn't think of this, because I do collect Coca-Cola stuff and I do know about the Coca-Cola Santa. So I don't know how it slipped my mind, but I'm so happy that we do have this pop now.
Coming in at number 4 on my list is the New York Comic Con shared with GameStop exclusive 6-inch 5-headed dragon from Yu-Gi-Oh! This is a great looking pop, especially because I never got my hands on Tiamat, and now I have one where it's a need in my collection because I'm trying to get all of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Pops. So I cannot wait until, I believe now it is next week, when New York Comic Con exclusives release, and I actually walk into my GameStop and actually get 5-headed dragon.
Now, moving on to the top 3 pops of the month so far in my collection. So, starting at number 3, I have Jimbo from Simpsons. This is a pop that I've discussed on the channel before that I wanted to see, and we finally got it for New York Comic Con, and it looks great. I really do enjoy how this pop looks, and it's Simpsons, another thing that I love to collect for Funko, so I knew it had to make the list, especially ranking high at number 3.
Coming in at number 3 on my list is the Luffy with Going Merry Pop Rides, New York Comic Con shared with Hot Topic exclusive. This pop looks great. I mean, it's not often that we get pop rides on a boat, and I think this was a perfect one for such a popular anime. This thing is going to be a huge seller when it comes to New York Comic Con next week, whether you're at Hot Topic or you're actually going through the booth at the convention itself in New York City. This is a cool looking pop, and it's not higher because I know for a fact I'm personally not going to get it.
Now, moving on to number 2, I have the New York Comic Con Steve from Blue's Clues. This pop is awesome. Originally, we did get to see the blue pop, but now we have Steve, which is so cool. I mean, just so many memories watching Blue's Clues, and when he had left the show, that really was kind of one of the first ever moments in a lot of people's lives, at least if you're our age, where you kind of felt this thing of like someone leaving your life. So it's cool that we now see him in pop form. I think that this is great. This is a necessity for my collection.
Coming in at number 2 in my list, it is the Snoop Dogg Doggy Style Pop albums. The reason it shot up very high is because of the hype involved with the Snoop Dogg pops. Is there's so many people hyped the fact that Snoop Dogg is being made into pop form now, and I knew a Snoop Dogg pop had to make it. It was just a matter of what one it was going to be, and I thought, you know what, Snoop Dogg Doggy Style, his debut album. I mean, the pop overall looks pretty decent inside of the album.
Coming in at number 1, so far my favorite pop of the month. I knew it had to be this pop. It is the Funko NFT Looney Tunes Foghorn Leghorn with Henry Hawk. This is awesome. My favorite character from Looney Tunes, finally in Funko Pop form, and it's a poppin' buddy. What more can you ask for? I really do enjoy this pop. I can't wait for it to be part of my collection and on my shelf with the rest of my Looney Tunes pops. And I mean, just so cool. I'm so excited about this. So I knew it had to come in at number 1.
All right, coming in at number 1 on my list is the New York Comic Con shared with Funko Shop exclusive Steve with the handy dandy notebook from Blue's Clues. This thing is great. Simplistic, but very great. So much hype going into this because people wanted a Steve pop when the blue pop was announced. Yeah, I don't know what's really going to top it, especially because we have the update, which I forgot to mention at the beginning, those new to the podcast. The update is the segment where we update our top 10 lists since we are not over and done with September yet. But next week, when we discuss about, I believe it would be September 19th all the way until I believe September 30th, that will be the last set of September pops. And then we do another top 10 list. Anyways, guys, that is going to be the end of this week's edition of a Funko Popcast. If you enjoyed this week's edition of a Funko Popcast, make sure you smash that like button. Comment in the comment section below and let us know your favorite pop for the month of September 2022. Press the subscribe button for more content like this podcast and any other videos we do on this channel in the future. And press the little bell beside it to be notified of when that future content gets released. And if you guys haven't yet, follow us on all of our social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at a Funko Popcast. It'll be listed in the description below. But anyways, guys, thank you for listening to this week's edition of Funko Popcast, and we hope to see you guys next week for the remaining pops of September 2022. 1, 2, 3, I'm out of here.
I say, boy, that's a nice Funko Pop. Peace in, peace out.